What's going on, Saw fans? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another ranking video. If you guys are new here, feel free to click that subscribe button and that bell notification icon for more reviews, reactions, rankings, and more movie content. With the release of Spiral from the Book of Saw, the 9th film in the Saw franchise, it is a perfect opportunity to give you guys my ranking for all 9 Saw movies from worst to best. I watched all these movies for the very first time, except for Jigsaw, going into Spiral, so I'm a fresh face to the franchise, and just keep in mind, guys, this is my ranking, alright? All of our rankings are going to be completely different. If you are a fan of the Saw franchise, definitely let me know your ranking in the comments below. Are we different? We probably are, and let's talk about our disagreements in the comments and not be assholes and just respect each other's lists, because that's what ranking videos are for. So, without further ado, guys, let's get into the ranking. Live or die, make your choice. Game over. Coming in number 9 is going to be Saw 3D or Saw 7 The Final Chapter, whatever it's called. This movie was like the ending point to the classic Saw franchise until we got Jigsaw and Spiral. Everything leading up to this movie, the legacy of Jigsaw, John Kramer, was completely shat on and his moral codes went completely out the door. Hoffman is not a very intimidating villain at all. He's just the complete opposite of John Kramer. And what he does in this movie, he just kills people. That's not what Jigsaw's all about. At least he gives people a chance, but he is kind of a psychopath. The characters are annoying. I can't stand the character of Jill Tuck, and it was definitely a very satisfying ending indeed with the reverse bear trap. But the traps in this movie aren't even that great. They aren't even memorable. They're just not classic Saw traps we've seen. So overall, Saw 3D The Final Chapter is a mess of a movie. It's got terrible acting, terrible directing, and just everything we've seen before. At number 8 is going to be Saw 5. Saw 5 is an absolutely awful movie. Very terrible sequel. This was at the time where John Kramer was dead, and I just hated this movie. I hated all the characters in it. They brought in Hoffman as Jigsaw's one of his apprentices. I can't stand that character. They try to dive into what his moral is and his connection to John Kramer, Jigsaw. All the traps in this movie were pretty cool, especially the vial of blood trap in the final act, where they have to lose a lot of blood in order to solve the task. Megan Good's involved in these people. I can't stand Megan Good and the rest of these people, and just the constant continuation with Hoffman versus the cops. And then the end and final shot, while it was cool that Hoffman got out alive and Stram dies, just everything about this movie is just so formulaic. The acting, the directing, just Saw 5 is just a terrible movie, and John Kramer is my favorite character in this franchise, and he's just not in it enough, and I just couldn't stand they killed him off. Coming number 7 is gonna be Jigsaw, the most frustrating Saw movie to watch, the most confusing. The timeline issues to this movie make absolutely no goddamn sense. The twist ending is just WTF with the character of Logan, supposedly one of Jigsaw's apprentices. This supposedly taking place 10 years in the past, and then he just staged this Jigsaw game for the police to get trapped. I'm like, what is going on in this movie? But the traps were pretty cool in here. The character of Ryan getting his legs stuck. The farm trap, the motorcycle trap were pretty cool, but a lot of characters I could not stand in the film. The detective storyline was probably the most interesting storyline. They completely forced bringing John Kramer back. Jigsaw is an absolute mess of a movie, and rewatching it now, having seen all the Saw movies, I understand why people are so frustrated with this movie, because the timeline just makes absolutely no sense.
Watch his legend grow. Saw 3. Suffering. You
At number 6 is Saw 3. Saw 3 is actually a pretty praised Saw movie. The first 3 at least. Saw 3 I thought was good in a lot of parts, but a lot of parts are a complete mess. Everything they did with Amanda in this movie I couldn't stand. I loved her in the second movie, but here it's supposedly her test. I'm like, why does that even make sense? And the complete different aspects. This is the film where John Kramer does die. He's getting close to death. Got Amanda there, this nurse, this guy Jeff. Jeff is absolutely annoying. He takes absolutely forever. Well, I like the unique approach with some of the traps in here with Jeff. He has to come across the judge. He comes across the killer. And the traps were pretty awesome. The pig trap and this one trap with this one guy, the killer, were really awesome. But by the time the twist rolls around, I was just completely frustrated because Saw 3 had the potential to be a really good sequel. I was really enjoying it, but then the twist ruined it for me.
gotta save yourself. My work will continue.
Saw 4 is probably the most interesting Saw movie, I would say. It's got all the traps, it's got the character storyline that's frustrating, and the twist reveal at the end. It's what we've seen before, but I guess it doesn't frustrate me with the ones that are down on the list. You got one of these cops, Rig, who is a partner of Detective Matthews, played by Donnie Wahlberg. He's going to solve this trap, and he's given this story overall how he's even involved in this game. You get the Detective Strum and his partner. His partner supposedly gets killed, but overall, Saw 4 has some really fun elements. I do enjoy the traps in here. And Jigsaw again was dead, but I do like the twist in here at the end with John Kramer supposedly revealing his new apprentice, Hoffman. I thought that was a really cool twist. And the death of Detective Matthews is pretty iconic. So overall, Saw 4, it is a lot of fun. This is the first one without the John Kramer character, but it's not that bad compared to the other Saw films.
There's nowhere to go! Where is he?
This is probably surprising to some of you. A lot of you have this in the top 2 for the Saw franchise, but I have it at 4. Saw 2 is a really good Saw sequel, and the best part of this movie is Tobin Bell. Tobin Bell as John Kramer Jigsaw, he is fantastic in here, and he has the most screen time in any Saw movie. He's just sitting there with all these cops and with Detective Matthews, Donnie Wahlberg, and really toying his mind. He gave him a really important lesson: just sit here and you'll see your son again. I do like Donnie Wahlberg a lot as Detective Matthews. He has a really over-the-top and pissed-off personality, but the twist ended in here with Detective Matthews being tricked, Amanda being revealed to be one of Jigsaw's successors, trapping Detective Matthews just like the first movie. That was really cool, and I just loved how unpredictable the movie was.
Move people to the death. Saw 6.
At number 3 is gonna be Saw 6. Saw 6 is actually a pretty entertaining movie. It's got one of the best traps in here with the shotgun carousel. I think the shotgun carousel is the highlight of the movie by far, especially how awful the character Mr. Easton is. He wouldn't help John Kramer with his cancer and him canceling out his employees. I thought that was a really cool twist at the end. And Saw 6 is just a really entertaining Saw movie, and it's probably the best I've seen from Hoffman. Once he kills all those cops, that was really cool. And it's just really fun, and it does follow the Saw formula, but I had a lot of fun with Saw 6. It definitely surprised me with the entertainment value, the traps, the shotgun carousel like I mentioned. It's just a really fun Saw movie. It's got a lot of issues to it, but this is just a really praised one that I really enjoyed.
Live or die.
I'm probably going to shock the world right now by being the most rogue person having this opinion, but coming in at number 2 is going to be the first Saw. I know you guys are absolutely going to disagree with this placement here with the first Saw movie. The first Saw movie is fantastic, guys. It's a horror classic. introduced the world to Saw, created this franchise. James Wan and Lee Winnell, they made this masterpiece. We get introduced to Dr. Gordon, Carrie Elwes, who becomes that killer reveal in Saw 7, but he's introduced in here, as well as Adam, played by Lee Winnell, which I did not know that. And it's just these two characters stuck in this bathroom playing Jigsaw's game, and it's just mostly dialogue. The other Saw movies are mostly traps. This is mostly dialogue. I think the thing everybody thinks about with this movie is the twist ending, with John Kramer being in the bathroom the whole time. He's the dead guy lying in the middle. That's an incredible twist. I did not see that coming at all, and I just love that twist. But besides that twist, that's the only thing I remember about the first Saw, and I think many people as well. While this is a horror classic, it introduced this great franchise, and I completely understand why this movie would be number one in your Saw rankings. I think it's great. I just think this number one choice I enjoyed more personally.
You wanna play games, motherfucker?
But coming in at number one for me is going to be Spiral from the Book of Saw, the newest Saw movie. My review is out on the channel. You can go check it out. I won't talk in depth, but I really enjoyed Spiral from the Book of Saw. Me not being a big Saw fan, I got into this movie pretty well. I'm a huge fan of Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. I love both of them, that they were cast in the film. Chris Rock being hugely passionate about the Saw series, making this movie. This movie did the same things that the other Saw movies did, but did it in a completely unique way. I was getting tired of the Saw formula, and this one does it differently. I think the biggest issue with this movie is the Jigsaw copycat voice. That's terrible, and some of the character moments weren't perfect, but I think this is the most rewatchable, entertaining Saw movie that I've seen thus far. I really enjoyed the comedy. The traps in here are completely awesome. The train trap, the bath trap were awesome, and the final trap too. And it reminded me of the first Saw movie. Chris Rock was awesome, so was Sam Jackson, that father-son duo. And this is the one I could definitely see myself revisiting a ton. And if they were to make another Saw movie with Chris Rock, I'd be down for it. So Spiral from the Book of Saw is my favorite Saw movie. There you have it, guys. That was my ranking for all the Saw movies. Let me know what you guys think of my ranking. If you disagree, you probably do. Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this ranking. All my social media links are in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!